make this work. I want you.
What did I tell you to do?
How Tori Spelling shopped her way from $150 million mansion to RV park. For all of his over-the-top, glossy, sudsy shows about hot Beverly Hills teens and feuding, filthy rich dynasties, even TV's late superproducer Aaron Spelling couldn't imagine a plot as far-fetched as his own life and legacy, which now includes his daughter Tori and 5 grandchildren living in cheap motels and an RV. The Beverly Hills 90210 star, 50, and her kids, Liam, 16, Stella, 15, Hattie, 11, Finn, 10, and Beau, 6, made headlines earlier this month for briefly staying at a budget motel. It's a far cry from the gigantic, 123-room, $150 million mansion dubbed the Manor in Holmby Hills, California, where she lived with her parents, Aaron and Candy, and younger brother, Randy, growing up. Earlier this week, Tori was photographed living at a campground in Ventura County, California, with her 5 children. It's a mess, says someone who has known both Tori and Dean for years and spent time in some of their homes. She claimed that both Tori and Dean are broke. While there has been speculation about why Tori's mother didn't step in to help, Candy Spelling has a very protective team, who claimed Thursday that Candy found a house for Tori and her family, but Tori turned it down. The Spelling family friend told Page 6 that Tori and her currently estranged husband, Dean McDermott, whom she married in 2006, have no money. In part, the source claimed, it is because of their penchant for staying in expensive rentals and Tori's shopping habit. That habit mirrors her mother's well-documented love of shopping and collecting everything from dolls to Beanie Babies, the source said. Their household bills run $100,000 a month, the source said. There's no end to the spending. In 2016, she had a room stacked to the ceiling with boxes she didn't even open. There were clothes stuffed into the bathroom with price tags still on them. Besides her shopping, there's pet care, hospital stays, private schools, you name it. The house was a pit filled with animals like pigs, snakes, and ferrets. It's white trash central. But the source also claimed that Tori needs storylines in a bid to stay relevant and maybe get another TV reality show. She and her husband have already starred in several. So she concocts dramatic situations, like spending the night with her kids in motels and RVs, so the paparazzi photograph her, the source claimed. The source claimed that is not the only compelling storyline Tori has helped concoct, telling Page 6 that they believed claims that Tori and McDermott made up the story in 2013 that Dean had cheated with a 28-year-old named Emily Goodhand. The claim was widely aired at the time, with the Spellings using an episode of their show to push back, saying she definitely existed, but no picture ever emerged of the apparent mistress. McDermott did not return calls and texts from Page 6. Tori Spelling was not reachable. Everything you see is staged by her, the source said. She doesn't exist. They did it for publicity. The two of them fool the media all the time. They construct every story. Everything is a lie. There's no reality to any of it. Tori thinks the poor little rich girl narrative is a good storyline. She thinks she is as talented and inventive as her father. But Aaron Spelling's own storyline, as a bullied but scrappy Jewish kid in heavily anti-Semitic 1920s Dallas, Texas, involved success and triumph, not failure. It also began as dramatically as any of his characters. Had it not been for the murder of his mother's first husband by a random stranger who brutally stabbed him in 1911 Texas, he never would have been born. But his widowed, mother of 2 Russian Jewish immigrant mother, Pearl, proved to be as resourceful and heroic as any future Spelling character when she arranged for the real love of her life, a Polish Jew named David Spelling, to emigrate to the U.S. and marry her. Spelling, a tailor, changed his name to Spelling, and they went on to have 3 sons of their own, Aaron being the youngest. According to several accounts, including his autobiography, Spelling's childhood was dirt poor and he and his siblings slept 5 to a bed. He went on to become a pilot in World War II and then rose to become one of the most prolific producers in Hollywood, churning out more than 200 series and TV movies, including such 1970s and 80s hits like The Mod Squad, Charlie's Angels, The Love Boat, Starsky and Hutch, and Fantasy Island. He reinvented himself in the 90s with more mega hits like Beverly Hills 90210, in which Tori played the virginal Donna Martin, and Melrose Place. Spelling died in 2006 at the age of 83, setting the scene for years of public feuding between his wife and daughter that mirrored some of his bitchiest characters on shows like Dynasty and Melrose Place. The two wrote dueling memoirs in which they subtly, in Candy's case, and not so subtly, in Tori's case, trashed each other while also claiming to love one another. Aaron reportedly left his two children, Tori and her younger brother, Randy, 44, only $800,000 each at the time of his death. The bulk of his $600 million fortune went to his wife. Randy declined to comment for this story, but by many accounts lives a stable life as a life coach in Portland, Oregon with his wife and two kids. Page 6 spoke to 3 TV executives that Aaron Spelling worked with for years who praised him to the skies. He was the best, actress/producer Lynn Loring, who worked with Spelling in the 1980s, told Page 6. I am forever grateful. He was a brilliant guy who never got enough credit. But the private Aaron Spelling was more complicated, several people told Page 6. The truth, as I understand it, is that they, Candy and Tori, were both very competitive for Aaron's attention and he manipulated them both, one family friend said, echoing claims Tori made in her 2008 book, Storytelling. In the years since his death, Candy has often taken the brunt of the blame, although she has openly flaunted her share of odd relationships. Tori, as well as Vanity Fair writer Dominic Dunn, accused her of having an affair with ex-felon Mark Nathanson during Aaron Spelling's last years. She denied it. More recently, she has struck up friendships with people with colorful pasts like actress Tatum O'Neal and Beverly Hills realtor and $1 Million Listing cast member Josh Flagg. Candy Spelling declined to comment to Page 6. She called Tatum her substitute daughter, the family friend claimed. Loring called Candy Spelling spectacular and a terrific person, but said she also has some issues. Indeed, in Candy's 2009 memoir, Stories from Candyland, one of Candy's childhood friends recalled going over to Candy's home as a child and how her mother was sometimes not well and spent many of her days in bed. I think Candy is very insecure and gives off vibes people don't understand, Loring said. I think it was difficult to learn to live with all that money. I think she began to be very protective of herself and her family. But Candy's close friend Nikki Haskell, fresh from a trip to Europe last month with Candy, says she is optimistic about mother and daughter, saying they are a work in progress. I like Tori, Haskell told Page 6. I think she's adorable. At the same time, I know she can be difficult. She can be a poor little rich girl. Candy has been very concerned about her, but at the same time she told me that things are smoothing out. The lines of communication between them have been up and down, but I'm told things are getting better.